Okay, so welcome to module one of Magnetic Money. I am so excited to be getting started on this course with you today. This course really is, for me personally, it's the culmination of the last 13 years of my life and the journey that I've been on myself with respect to money. It's really been about learning how to attract money in the first place, because when I started this journey, I found myself being, a single mum. I was on government payments. I hadn't worked in my career in engineering for about 8 years. I just had a 3 and a 5-year-old, and I was kind of really cash strapped. It got to the point where I was crying in the supermarket over my bill being $10 more than I expected it to be. And that's when I learned how to really attract money, what the law of attraction really meant. It was around the time that The Secret had come out, and I used to have it just playing on repeat all the time. And the funny thing is, one of my favorite teachers featured on The Secret was Mike Dooley, and nowadays I actually get to work with him. So isn't that amazing? Law of attraction really works because he was in my house every day over and over. And but that wasn't enough. It needed to be more than that. And really, for me, the next step in all of that was learning to take care of money, learning to really make money feel welcome and to make friends with it and take loving care of it. And because I started a business in the finance sector at that time, it actually meant I had to learn all of that, and I had to help my clients do all of that. So I helped clients, save for their first home. I helped them start investing. I helped people who had come out of bankruptcy and divorce and things like that, and help them kind of figure out how to get back on track, how to reduce their debt, accumulate savings, and help money grow and multiply. So I really help people get comfortable and confident around taking good care of their money. And of course, I had to do the same for myself. So moving forward from there, the last piece of the puzzle really was realizing that, oh, hang on, there are some unconscious patterns that are really getting in the way. And the thing with unconscious patterns is they're really easy to miss because they're unconscious. So then realizing that that was going on and becoming a hypnotherapist and really delving into the power of the unconscious mind, it really was that missing link to working out how to put all of this onto the fast and easy track. So in Magnetic Money, we're going to do all of that in just 6 weeks. So strap yourselves in, because it's going to be quite a ride. Now, I'm just going to give you a really quick overview of the course before we get into it. What I'd like you to do is, if you can have a pen and paper handy, that would be fabulous, just so you can take notes. But the first thing I'd like you to write down again is, why did you enroll in this course? What made you decide that this is something you really need to focus on for the next 6 weeks and beyond? Because everything you learn in this course, you're going to take away with you into your life. So, what is it you want out of this course? Take a moment, jot that down. And also have a think about, what will that mean long-term for you? How do you want your relationship to money to change? What's the long-term vision for you? What's the long-term goal? And what is this course just the start of? Because this is 6 weeks, right? And there's a lot of life ahead of you. So what do you want this to be the beginning of? Set that intention right here, right now. It's a very powerful thing to do. So the way the course is going to work is, we have 6 weeks together running through the modules. I'm keeping your workload as light as possible and just to the key things that really make a difference. So I'm going to try and keep it as light on the home play as possible, because I want you to have lots of time and space to let all of the learnings and everything that you're noticing that's going on within you to really percolate. I want you to give yourself the time and the space to really notice what's going on, to feel what's going on, and very, very importantly, to share in the Facebook group. The more active and engaged you are in the Facebook group, the more transformation you will personally get out of this course. It is really one of the most valuable parts of the course, and it's why I don't teach this one-on-one. I can teach it one-on-one, but you know what? what you are going to get out of sharing and hearing other people's learnings and insights and penny drops is going to be so much more valuable than you just sitting with me one-on-one for 6 weeks. The group environment is extremely powerful. I want you to really sit with what's going on. Really take the time to be present. When you're watching one of these calls, be there. When you're in the Q&A, be there. Ask your questions, no matter how silly they may seem. I don't care. If you're asking a question, the chances are at least one other person will be going, thank God they asked that because I was wondering the same thing. Or the answer will help them understand something else that they were wondering. So over the 6 weeks, we're going to have one lesson and one live Q&A call each week. The Q&A call is the group coaching. It's your chance to ask lots of questions and get support with the implementation of everything that we're doing. All our calls will usually be same time, same day, but do check the Facebook group. So you just want to keep on top of that. And of course, sometimes things might come up and calls might need to be rescheduled. So please do keep an eye on that. Now, the Facebook group is there for you for ongoing support and the community. So even after these 6 weeks, the group will still stay open. You know, there are some things we're going to do here for home play that are not just a one-off, we're only doing it this week. A lot of the things we are doing will be ongoing things that you'll take away with you into life. So you can keep doing that in the Facebook group even after the 6 weeks finish. For home play, like I said, I will keep it short, sharp and shiny as much as possible because I want you to have lots of space and lots of time to notice, to interact and to really process what's going on for you. Now, some of the practical things do need to get done and you will need to sit down and do them when we get to that. But as much as possible, I want you to just have lots of space and time to really be present with what's happening. And so that means get the home play done as soon as possible. And then focus the rest of your week on the interacting, the sharing, and the noticing. Now, you've also got access to the member site where I will upload all the videos. You can access them forevermore. And also the worksheets and any audios that you need will be available there. But ask your questions in the Facebook group as much as possible. I know sometimes people want to kind of message me directly, but this is a group program and you've got the power of the group. So when you ask a question in the group, you help everybody else so much. Okay, so I'll give you the quick rundown of what to expect in these 6 weeks and where we are headed. Modules 1 and 2 really are about preparing you, preparing your energy to attract more abundance and more money into your life. So today we're going to get your bearings and get prepared. Next week we're focusing more on getting in alignment. Then we move on to modules 3 and 4, and they're focused on clearing any blocks and shifting unconscious patterns. Now, modules 5 and 6 are where we get practical. That's where we set up your wealth creation system, we set up your automated money system, and we give you some tools so that you can manage that money wisely and with confidence, set it up so most of it is running on autopilot with minimum effort, but maximum control. And that's really, really important. Now, if you haven't been able to log into the member site, just send me a message and I'll get that fixed up for you. I know that some of the people who transitioned over from the previous version of this course, we hadn't done the migration fully. So when you first received the email, it may not have been working yet. Try again. If it doesn't work, please just let me know. So today we're really focusing on giving you a solid foundation for long-term abundance, but also a really solid foundation that'll set you up for specific parts of this course to really get the most from them. So do take your time to do it properly, to really sit with it. A lot of this work is about sitting with it, noticing, and not running away from what may come up. So notice, keep a journal. If you can keep a journal through this for yourself, that would be really, really helpful. And everybody will be different. You know, some people might find it's pretty easy, smooth sailing for them. no wobbles whatsoever. And then at some stage, they'll hit a wobbly bit. Others will find week one really, really challenging, and then it'll get easier from there. Everybody's different. Just know that this is your journey. There's no right or wrong. There's no judgment whatsoever. And in fact, this is actually one of the most important steps. You've started. You made a commitment to doing this course, to focusing on this work for the next 6 weeks. And that is huge. Just that alone is huge. You've sent a really powerful message to your unconscious mind, to all those old ways of being, that things are going to change. So don't underestimate the power of just that. Now, this is a really important quote that I want you to take as your mantra into this course, because it really is the little things that make the big difference. Often people get sucked into thinking they have to do some big, huge, difficult thing, and that will make the difference. But it's not that. It's all the little things adding up over and over again, building momentum, wiring deeper into your unconscious. That is what makes the difference. Your little efforts matter. Your little steps that you're taking matter. So don't judge or discount. Don't judge or discount what's going on for you, and try not to judge or discount what I'm asking you to do. Some of it you may go, oh, that's really simple. Great, do it. Some things you might go, oh, that's really huge. Do it anyway. I ask that you trust me. You've trusted me enough to enroll in this course. I ask that you trust me through this process, and that you trust yourself, and just do it and really commit yourself to getting the most out of it by showing up, being present, and doing the work. Okay, so let's get into what we're doing today. So today we're going to cover 4 really important things. Number 1, high vibes help you work through upper limits. Number 2, you have more than you think, and I'm talking about abundance and money. Number 3, where attention goes, energy flows. And number 4, you have to know your starting point, because this is a journey. And if you're heading anywhere in our 3D reality world, you need to know where you're starting so that you know which way to head, what you can expect along the way, what milestones you're looking for. So with any journey, you have to know your starting point. And people tend to gloss over that and go, oh, but I know where I want to get to. But if you don't really know where you're starting, you make that so much more difficult, because you're kind of guessing as to what it'll take for you to reach your goal. And I prefer not to guess. I prefer to know which way I'm heading, know what milestones I need to hit along the way, and make a plan. So they're the 4 key points we're covering in this module, and there'll be some home play on each one. This module is really all about getting that solid foundation for you, both for this course and long-term, for your relationship with money to shift and to stay a beautiful, positive, happy relationship between the two of you. So we're going to get all this done in 6 weeks. I'm very, very excited. Okay, number 1, let's talk about high vibes and how they help you in particular move through upper limits and stretch past your current comfort zone. If you think about it for a moment, all the things you want more money in your life for, when you think about the feeling around them, it's a high vibing feeling. It's a good feeling. Everything you want is on a high vibration. We don't want things that make us feel bad. We only want the things that make us feel good. And money is a stepping stone along that way. So you want to become a vibrational match to that. And once you do that, once you become a vibrational match to all the high vibing things, of which money is one, and all the things that lay on the other side of you having the money lay, then you can actually allow that flow to begin, because you are the magnet. Everything starts and ends with you and where your vibration is at. Now, the thing is that when we're moving out of an old pattern, when we're moving out of our current comfort zone, whatever it is, it doesn't actually matter where you're physically at in life. Your current way of being, your current money in the bank, your current income, it is what you're used to. It's what you're currently used to. And whenever we start to move out of that comfort zone, whether we're enjoying that comfort zone or not, it's what we're used to. When we move out of it, there will be resistance. It means that your old patterns will start to rear their head and try and keep you back down in the comfort zone, back down in the same old, because you know what? Maybe comfort zone isn't the right word for it, but that's the word people tend to use. Sometimes it's a discomfort zone, but it's what you're used to. And it's that old, better the devil you know kind of attitude. That's how our unconscious mind tends to work. That's how our cerebellum, that ancient lizard brain that is still so active, that drives all our behavior without capacity for language, operates. It is actually constantly scanning for danger, and change indicates danger as far as the ancient part of our brain is concerned. So there's safety in staying in the same place, in staying in the cave and not stepping outside where you might be put at risk. So be aware of that what we're doing here is we're moving past your current comfort or discomfort zone. We're moving past the status quo. We're looking at increasing. We're looking at stretching. We're looking at growing. And there are levels of abundance, of money, of income, and of your value that you feel comfortable and familiar with. Now, I've just spotted a comment by Sharon asking, can everybody please turn off their video because it does cause the bandwidth to really drop, and she has very low internet access where she is. So whenever you get on a call where I'm screen sharing, just turn your video off. It makes it a lot easier. I've already muted everybody. Okay, so with upper limits, what we want to do is we don't want to smash our head on them. Often when you start to sign up for something like this, or you do anything to instigate change and growth, what happens is you get going and then you suddenly smash your head on that upper limit and all hell breaks loose. And what invariably happens is that's not very pleasant. So you end up running off and you don't complete the journey. You get so knocked out, you get so damaged, you get so smacked around by it that you kind of give up and you have to go and lick your wounds and just go into recovery phase. We want to make that easier. So I want you to think about stretching your comfort zone gently rather than trying to smash through it and smashing your head on an upper limit. And by keeping your vibration high, not only are we putting you in alignment with all the abundance that you're after, by keeping your vibration high, we actually make it so much easier to move through those layers so that you can do it as gently and as easily and have as much fun as possible. We want to gently stretch your comfort zone. You want to go to a yoga class where you're warming up and you're gently stretching rather than, having somebody grab your leg and try and twist it to behind your head without warming up or anything. You want to do it gently and lovingly. So staying on that high vibration really does make it easier, because what it does is it gets you used to consistently being on a higher vibration. So there's a twofold benefit. There are extra benefits, but the two I'm most interested in here is, number one, when you consistently stay on a higher vibration, you get used to it. And law of attraction kicks in and builds. You become used to being happier. You generally just stay happier. And that becomes your new set point. You notice it more easily when you're not in that place. You get used to feeling better. And when you wake up and you're not feeling so great, you know that you're off. You get more sensitive to your vibration. And so you will self-correct. You will do things to put you back into a higher vibration. Now, we can't always be on a high vibing, yahooing place. That's not normal life. But we all have a set point, and we can adjust our set point by doing things deliberately that put us in a high vibration more and more often, and knowing that the universe responds to that. law of attraction kicks in and brings you more things to feel good about, more things to have fun with, more things that make you feel abundant. And so it builds and builds and builds. And so by you getting the ball rolling and making sure you get your day started on as high a vibe as possible, that's a really gentle and natural way of stretching past your current comfort zone and avoiding smacking your head on upper limits. It really is the key. So fun and high vibes are really powerful. And the extra bonus is that high vibes are a match to abundance and to wonderful things happening. Now, getting on a high vibration costs you nothing. Absolutely nothing. And that's the first home play we're doing for this week. I want you to list your happy habits. Your happy habits are all the things that basically cost you nothing and put you in a good feeling place, that make you feel abundant. So I want you to have a think about, all the things that you want more money for, because we're doing a course on money, all the things that you want more money for. What is it that you ultimately want? So look back at what you wrote down at the start. What is it you ultimately want? And you'll notice that it's not the money. It's the things beyond the money. It's more time. It's less stress. It's being more relaxed. It's having more time to take walks, to be with your loved ones. It's those sorts of things that we want. What do you want to do more of with that extra money? And you'll notice that a lot of those things, if not all of them, you can do now. And the beautiful part of that is that as you do them now, they will lift your vibration, make you feel abundant. You become a vibrational match to abundance, start attracting more, and you also raise your vibrational set point so that it's easy to stretch past that comfort zone. We all have that comfort zone of how much goodness we currently allow ourselves and are comfortable with. But the more you just practice feeling good and let law of attraction kick in naturally, then it becomes an ongoing practice rather than something you stop and start and smack your head on an upper limit on. So what I want you to do is make a list of all those things. What are those things that you ultimately want? More time, more relaxation, longer walks, sitting by the beach, enjoying the sunset, all those kinds of things. I want you to make a list of those. That is your list of happy habits. And your home play, number 1 for this module, is to list those happy habits, share them in the group, and continue doing them for the rest of your life. You don't just list them, you actually then practice them. Now, the way I love seeing happy habits come through in the group is if you jump on something like Canva and put a really beautiful collage together. What you can also do is you can grab your vision board, if you've already got one, and you can add them into that. Or start a list of happy habits and add little visions of what they actually look like. So don't just do the words, but add visuals of all of that. And it becomes both a guide for you of these are all the things that make me feel good. This is the abundance that I can already generate in my life, because abundance is actually a feeling that the universe will then respond to and bring you the matching physical components of. So you need to just get started with the feeling. List your happy habits. Start making sure that you practice them as regularly as possible. We forget to do the things that make us feel good, and we just get busy slogging away sometimes and spending all our time worrying, working, and fearing, rather than actually spending some time doing the things right now that we ultimately are striving for. Seems insane, really, doesn't it, when you say it like that? So, happy habits. List them, share them in the group, and practice them as often as possible. Now, let's move on to point number 2. And that is evidence. It's one of my favorite parts of all the money work that we do. We use the hashtag evidence in my money programs. And what we do is we share in the Facebook group, and I want you to notice it for yourself as often as possible as well, whenever you have abundance showing up in your life. Because the thing is, you have so much more than you think. The thing is that most people, when they start focusing on money and wanting more, they're actually spending the lion's share of their time focusing on the lack of the money that they want in their life, rather than focusing on the money they already have. They're focused on, I still don't have what I want more, and it's not here yet. And the problem with that is that then you're actually focusing on the lack of abundance, which means you're training your vibration on the lack of abundance. And so that's what you get more of. And it seems obvious when I say it like that, but the thing is, most people think that they're asking for more money, but vibrationally, they're actually asking for not enough, more of not enough. So what we do with the hashtag of evidence is we celebrate all the abundance we already have in our life. We really take the focus off the lack of what's not here yet, because that's not going to bring it to us. That's just going to bring you more of the lack of it not being there. We need to focus on what is already here, get on that vibration, and let the universe respond to it. We need to lift our vibe and become a match to abundance. So this is a really, really important exercise, and it's one that we just keep doing forevermore in the Facebook group. When you celebrate abundance, you attract more, you lift your vibration, and you become a match to more abundance. And law of attraction is what kicks in and does the building of the momentum. That is not your job. It is not your job to do it through sheer hard work by focusing on what's not there and trying to figure out how you can work your butt off to make it happen. That is not your work. Your work is to focus on abundance, be in that vibration, let law of attraction kick in and bring you things, and then respond in an inspired way to those things. That's when things start snowballing. That's when things start falling into place. That's when suddenly everything's just on a roll and more money starts flowing. So what is evidence? It's not just money. It's all the other things that have monetary value, like free coffees, a friend buying you lunch, discounts you get, free tickets to something, gifts. Notice all of those things. There are so many things that we get in our life that we discount because it's not cash in the bank, but it is abundance. So when you use this hashtag, use it both to celebrate being paid by a client, making a sale, but also make sure that you do notice all those other types of abundance that you have coming into your life. Because money is just one form of all of that. And like we said, money is just a stepping stone along the way. What we're doing here is we're getting you on the vibration of money and abundance rather than on the absence of it. And the thing is, you only have so much focusing power in your day. You only have so much focusing power in your mind. So we want to make sure that we give you some habits and exercises that you're focusing on, which will take over from you focusing on the lack of. We want you focusing on the evidence of all the abundance you already have. And by doing that, we take bandwidth, we take energy and resources away from you being able to focus on the lack of it. The more you focus on what you already have, the less you're able to focus on the lack of it, which means that automatically your focus is shifting in the direction that we want. It also means then that is what allows it to grow and build. That means law of attraction can kick in harder and faster on the abundance side of the equation rather than the lack of abundance side of the equation. Because up to now, depending on how big an issue money feels like for you, you might have been spending a lot more time focusing your energy on the lack of abundance side of the equation, which means that law of attraction is responding to that and going, okay, same, more of that, more of the same, more of the same, more of the same. So we want to break that pattern. And by giving you this simple little exercise, which is extremely powerful, we take the power away from that side of things and we focus all your power on the other side of things. So get really excited, post in the Facebook group. When you find 5 cents on the street, I always say, pick it up and kiss it, because the universe is sending you money, and celebrate it. Notice all the abundance you already have and share it in the group. And when you see other people post their evidence, get really excited for them. Give them supportive comments. It helps them raise their vibration around it even more. And that's what we want. We want to build vibrational momentum, but it's also evidence of abundance in your life, because when your neighbor has more abundance, when your best friend or your family member has more abundance in your life, that means the universe is starting to show more abundance to you. It's giving you a little preview of things to come. So when you see other people celebrating their evidence, when they're having a great month, when they've got all these extra sales, or they've been given some tickets to some amazing concert for free that you wanted to go to but didn't have the money for, get really excited, because the universe is showing you little signs along the way. Okay, so those first two things, happy habits and evidence, are really to help you keep your vibe really high. And I always say that you want to get your vibe really high because it'll be what carries you through the obstacles. So if you imagine that you're surfing, you want to catch the wave, and as you get on top of the wave, it'll carry you over the rocks that lay beneath the surface so much more easily. And that's what we're doing. We're riding the wave of the high vibration, and it'll help you pass through any obstacles that might come along so much more easily. You won't even notice them. You'll be riding high, having a wild old time. You won't even notice that there were all these rocks underneath because you've just gone over the top. So that's what we want to do. We want to get the happy habits going. Make sure you make a list of them. Make sure you do them. Share them with us in the group, because we'll all inspire each other as well. And celebrate the hell out of your evidence. Every little bit of evidence of abundance is something that you can grab a hold of and start to build vibrational momentum on. So when you find that 5 cents in the street, pick it up and kiss it. Okay, so let's move along. Where your attention goes, your energy flows. It's time to have a look at where you're at right now. So what I'd like you to do for a moment is just close your eyes, if it's safe to do so, if you're not driving, as you're listening. Take a deep breath in, let it out. And in a moment, I'm going to say just one word, and I want you to notice when I say that word, what you feel in your body and where, and the words and emotions that first come to mind. Just take another deep breath. And notice what and where you feel when I say money. Notice what you feel in your body. Notice where you feel it. And what were the first words that come to mind? What are some of the emotions that popped up for you? And if you feel like sharing that with us, please do. So we've been talking a lot about vibration and where your focus is. And as I said, wherever your focus is, that's what you're asking Law of Attraction to respond to. Wherever your feeling state currently is, that is what the universe will respond to. So this simple practice of just sitting back and going, how do I really feel about this? Lets you know what your predominant vibration is. And it might be, it might be beautiful and joyful, or it might be a knot in your tummy, or it might be a bit uncomfortable. Could be all sorts of things. So I want you to just notice without judgment. Don't make it mean anything other than it lets you know that this is my predominant vibration around this concept right now. And even though sometimes I might speak a whole lot of positive affirmations or do my vision boards or whatever, this is my body's instant reaction. So that is my predominant vibration that I have going on right now. And the universe will respond to that. The universe is totally impartial. It will not overrule you going, well, I know what you really want, so I'll just ignore that and I'll give you what I know you want. It is completely impartial. It is just resonance. It is law of attraction. It is science. There is no judgment. There is no filter. Whatever you're vibrating, that's what you'll get. So for this section, you actually have a worksheet. And on the worksheet, you can go note down all these things. And then there's a few extra questions where you can just rank where you currently are and how you're feeling on a scale of 1 to 10. We will dig deeper into all of this in Module 3 and 4. And in Module 2, we will talk about how to get more aligned so that that feeling, if it wasn't what you'd like it to be, can shift to something you know is going to be more helpful. The point is that just pretending isn't good enough. Your vibration is your vibration is your vibration, and the universe will respond to it, and you will get more of the same. You will get a match in your physical reality showing up in response to wherever you're currently vibrating. And so a lot of people who practice law of attraction and practice positive thinking and practice all these things, they're just paying lip service. They're kidding themselves because they're not willing to actually address what's going on beneath the surface. They're just, sprouting positive affirmations, putting on a brave face, but not addressing what's really going on and not willing to do the work to shift the vibration and to release what might be keeping them stuck. But we're doing it. We're going to go there. We're going to shift your vibration, which will help you release all the things more easily, do all the things that have been keeping what am I trying to say? We're going to help you do all the things that you've been holding back from doing because of fear and because of all that underlying emotion. We're going to help you get there by raising your vibration, getting you more in alignment, and releasing some of those things that have been holding you back. So we're not going to pretend. We're going to be really honest and look this stuff square in the face, because when you look the monster square in the face, it's never as scary as you thought. There are no shadow monsters under your bed, kids. There really aren't. When you shine the light, they're not really there. So no more pretending. We're going to get real, knowing that that gives us the power to shift it. So it is not about getting real and saying, oh my God, I'm doomed because look at this and no wonder and building momentum on that. We just want to take your temperature. We want to put the thermometer in and just see where your temperature's at right now so that we know what the starting point is. There is no judgment, but we're going to get real because we're not going to just pretend and hope for the best. We're going to really do the work and make the shifts. So that's the worksheet that is in the member site. I will make sure everybody gets access to it, and I'll sort all of that out for anybody who hasn't been able to access it. So I want you to just spend a little bit of time in home play doing that. It won't take you very long to fill it out, but as I said before, your work in this course is to spend the time to sit with it. Not pretend and gloss over the surface, hoping that because you signed up for a course and you showed up for a few live calls and you ticked a few boxes on a sheet, everything will shift. What will shift things is your awareness. You sitting with it, being real about it, and actually doing the work. I'm here to support you every single step of the way, but if you're just pretending to do the work, we see our kids do it in school. We know when they're really doing the work, and we know when they're just kind of going through the motions and hoping to get away with it and can't wait to get back to their laptop. So it's the same thing. You really need to sit with it. So that sheet, yes, it can take you 2 minutes to complete. I do want you to complete it quickly because I want you to really work from your unconscious, but then I want you to sit with it and just see what comes up. See, what kind of thoughts and feelings come up. So when you first complete it and you do your ranking, just do it without thinking about it too much, because that's when you're allowing your unconscious to guide you. And the unconscious is what's driving you. It's driving 98% of what's going on in your life, including where you're at with money right now. So the unconscious is your friend here. It gives you so much information. It can help you so much. It'll do whatever you ask of it. It isn't partial either. It will do whatever it's instructed to do. So allow your unconscious to show you where things are really at by working through that really quickly, and then just sit with it and see what comes up. And please don't judge yourself for whatever happens. This is not about judging. This is not about, pronouncing you doomed. This is simply about noticing where things are at so that we can shift them. And it'll be a really great thing to look back on after the 6 weeks, because you'll think, really? Did I really say that? Okay, so that's home play number 3. Complete that quick little worksheet, but sit with it and really see what comes up. Now, last one for today is taking stock, knowing your starting point. So we're going to set you up really well by figuring out where you are at right now. Like I said, you can't go on any journey if you don't even know your starting point. You wouldn't even know which direction to head. So this is really, really important. What we want to do is 3 things here. And this part of it, you're going to do for the next 30 days. So we're going to track and celebrate all the money and abundance that you've got coming in, which is awesome, lifts your vibe, and you want to see how much is really coming in, because sometimes people forget. They're so busy focusing on what's not here yet that they totally miss all the cool stuff that is coming to them. And remember to use the hashtag evidence as well. The second bit is we want to know what's really going out in terms of money, so that when we get to modules 5 and 6, we can make some intelligent and wise choices. And number 3, we want to notice what unhelpful thoughts are coming up. Because I tell you what, right now we're rattling the cage of your unconscious patterns, which is why it's so important for you to do the happy habits and notice the evidence. I've also given you an extra audio in the member site called Trust in the Process, and I really encourage you to listen to that. It's something I threw in at the last minute because I thought, okay, I need you to get started on this work, and so I want you to have that hypnotic audio to support you through the process if you need it. So the audio is not mandatory, but if you need it to support you, it is there, because we're going to rattle the cage just by noticing and becoming aware. So up until now, for a lot of people on this course, a lot of that stuff's just been running kind of unconsciously in the background. And yeah, you kind of notice that, oh, I wish I had more money, and, you know, I haven't hit my goals, and I'd like my income to increase, and I'm still not where I want to be. You kind of notice it, but the details of it and what's really going on, most people don't really bother going to. And when you do start noticing, and when you especially notice what the thoughts around it are, all your unconscious patterns that have just been kind of running this show, that part of you, your ego, that identifies as that being your reality and your safety, because that's how things are, and any change away from this is perceived as dangerous. So all those things will start kicking up a stink at some point. May not happen for you, might not happen for you at all. If you're really good at staying on a high vibe, it doesn't need to happen. I'm not saying it has to happen. What I'm saying is that we're rattling the cage of a lot of old patterns that are quite happy doing their thing and wanting you to just get back to the same old, same old. So the audio is there if you need it. But honestly, I cannot say this often enough. Practicing your happy habits and noticing your evidence and doing all you can to stay on a high vibration really is the key. So I feel like at this point, I'm just going to give you some examples, jumping back to happy habits. So my happy habits list looks like this: my morning yoga, my morning meditation, going for a walk. I will either do yoga or a quick walk around our neighborhood, like I'm talking 15 minutes, then 15 minutes or 20 minutes of yoga. Patting my cat, being silly with my kids, reading a book. These are the things that are on my happy habits list. These are the things that really help me. Dancing in the shower, playing music when I'm in the bathroom, getting ready in the morning, makes a huge difference to my vibration. So as I'm, delivering this lesson, the last few months, I've had a lot of kind of family changes and things going on that have been really challenging for me. And I realized that one thing I'd stopped doing was playing music in the mornings in the shower. And as soon as I started doing that again, it was just so much easier to get on that high vibration, because my mantra with that is start high and stay high. Start your day on a high vibration and then stay there for as long as you possibly can. The earlier in the day you start, the higher your chances are of remaining there and not being knocked off. And we'll talk about this more in module 2. So make sure that the happy habits and the evidence are something that you just fully commit to, because they will get you through anything that might pop up through this part here, which is very, very important. So you've got this money tracker in the member site. You can just grab a notebook if you like. You don't have to use my sheets. In fact, I like using those little tiny pocket notebooks. You know, they're teeny tiny and they literally fit into your shirt pocket if you're wearing a shirt with a pocket. And you can use one of those. But there are 3 sheets. The number one, first sheet is noticing the abundance flowing in. Celebrate it. Track all the money and the abundance that's coming in. I do this every single day, and I actually put little love hearts. I put the people's names who've paid me for things. I put little love hearts. I send them love and gratitude. I'm so grateful that I have people who want to work with me and are happy to pay money to get this service that I offer. It's fabulous, and I love what I do, and I'm so grateful that I get to do it. So celebrate, share your evidence in the group as well, and draw love hearts, do happy dances. We want to focus lots and lots of energy on everything that goes on this sheet. Then the next sheet is noticing what's flowing out. Now, I've got abundance flowing out, but that's not a negative thing. Abundance needs to flow. Money is energy, and energy needs to flow. You need to be comfortable with money flowing out as much as you're comfortable with money flowing in. It is a constant flow, and you're in it. And the more you get comfortable with that, the easier you will find it. A lot of people are so resistant to allowing anything to flow out of fear of not more flowing in, that they choke the flow altogether. So it's okay that there's money flowing out of your experience. It's meant to be that way. So I want you to, and this is why the pocket notebook is really handy, I want you for the next 30 days to actually take a note of all the money you spend and what it goes on. Now, in Module 5 and 6, we're going to use this. I want you to just be impartial. I want you to just take a record. So you can be grateful that you have the money to spend, but at the very least, I want you to be really impartial and just do it as a record-keeping exercise. It's the little things that make the big difference. And the same with money spent. So in Module 5 and 6, you get to make some empowering decisions. So it's really important that in this section here that you track all your non-regular expenses. All those things like coffees, lunches, magazines, buying little knickknacks that you come across. Make sure that those are included. And you can also note on here all your routine expenses, rent, mortgage, business expenses, electricity. You can put all of it on here. And we will use this to make some really empowering decisions and to set up your money, your wealth creation system later on. We need to know where you're at right now, and everybody will be different. But this step gives you so much power to work with later on in the course. It really makes a huge difference. Some people really resist this, because they start going, oh my God, I'm spending money on so many things. Okay, great. You have money to spend on so many things. Isn't that fabulous? And long may it continue. And let's build it up so that there's more money flowing in, there can be more money flowing out, and you can joyfully spend that money. So as I said, you can express appreciation for having the money to spend as you're noting this, but at the very least, I want you to just be impartial, because this is about just some record keeping right now that will really empower you down the track. You really do need to know your starting point so that you don't end up guessing later. Now, a really important point, I really want you to do your best here. Sorry, just had a question pop in that I'll address. So Judy said, should I do our joint stuff or just what I do? Well, it'll depend on what you'd like to do in modules 5 and 6. Are you going to set up a system to just manage your own money or to manage the whole household's money? So if you're going to set up a system to manage the whole household's money, then note everything, which, means you might have to give him a pocket notebook and say, every time you swipe that card or hand over cash, please just jot it down on here. Gifts in money. So gifts in money for paying for expenses, pop them down anyway, because if that's an expense that you would like to ultimately always know you have the money to cover yourself, pop it down anyway. So basically, the money you want to track is all the money that you want to take control of, all the money that you want to then be in charge of later on. So we're just setting a baseline here. We're just doing some record keeping that'll help us get get that stuff set up later on. Now, really important note is don't modify your spending when you're doing this. A lot of people find that the moment they have to track every dollar they spend, just partly because they can't be bothered having to write it down, but also partly because it's, having to kind of be accountable, they modify how much money they spend. And I would prefer you don't do that. I prefer you just take this as a record-keeping exercise, because we want a true and accurate picture of what's going on right now, and that's what's going to help you make those empowering decisions later. So no emotion, no attachment. You can attach positive emotion, absolutely. So remember that the audio is there, the trust in the process audio if you need it. Some people everybody's totally different, but the audio is there if you need it. I just want you to have all the support you need. But the sharing the evidence and doing the happy habits will make all of this really easy. We're keeping it up for 30 days. It's not a lifelong thing. You can keep tracking the money coming in if you want to forevermore. I don't think I'll ever stop that habit now that I've started. I love doing it. But in terms of certainly the money spent, you only need to do it for 30 days. But it does make a huge difference when we set up your money system later on. I do like, some people do this on their phone. You can obviously print off these sheets and use them. You can use a pocket notebook. Some people do it on their phone, but I think there's something powerful in actually putting pen to paper and doing it by hand. So that's always my preference. I think that the more you're engaged in this process on every single level of your being, the more powerful it becomes. Now, there's a third sheet with this money tracker, and that is for you to just jot down all those little thoughts that come up. You want to really notice, this is your opportunity, because you might find that stuff pops up that you didn't really expect. Good, bad, indifferent. Note it down. And when you write down the thought, just notice, is this helpful? And is it on the vibration of abundance? And this is really powerful. This is really, really powerful, because you can start to self-regulate already your thoughts. You don't have to self-regulate your spending right now. If you just start noticing your thoughts and making little decisions along the way, going, well, that's not very helpful. Just even noticing that, this thought that has popped up out of your unconscious, that has reared its head because you're doing something a little bit different. You're taking notice, you're paying attention, and they will pop up and rear their head where normally they wouldn't. Normally they would just be hiding in your subconscious basement, doing their usual thing. And it's not because they're nasty things trying to undermine you and make your life difficult. It's just because that's how your unconscious works. Your unconscious sees the things that are regularly running patterns, and it takes over. Just like you don't have to think about breathing, you don't have to think about making your heart beat, you don't even have to think about tying your shoelaces or brushing your teeth anymore. Your unconscious takes over. But when one of those things is being disturbed, it'll pop up into conscious awareness. And that's when, with things that are in the unconscious which are not helpful, you have an opportunity. You get to notice them. You get to write them all down. So for now, just write them all down. That alone is powerful. We'll deal with these a little bit more later on. But always note, is it helpful? And is this on the vibration of abundance? Just the question. Let's see what pops up. So that is home play number 4. That's probably the one, well, it'll take the most time, but you will be doing it ongoing for the next 30 days. It is really, really important. And so that's why I've kept everything else fairly light for you, because this is really critical. But make sure that the happy habits and the evidence keep being front of mind for you, and that you stay really active in the Facebook group with those, because it'll support you through all the other stuff. So just a quick summary again, in case you didn't get that. Number 1, high vibes. List your happy habits, share them in the group, make them pretty, and do them. Number 2, evidence. Use the hashtag evidence and take note of all the abundance you do have. Make sure that you put as much of your attention and awareness on abundance rather than the lack of it. And hashtag evidence is super powerful for that. Number 3, noticing. What have you been focusing on? What's your body actually programmed to automatically respond? So when you do that money thoughts sheet, it lets you know, because your body is where your unconscious mind resides, and it gives you an instant answer this is my predominant vibration around money. This is how I predominantly feel about money right now. And it lets you know it's information. It's really valuable information that we're going to use. And last but not least, the money tracker sheet, so that you can start keeping track of what's coming in, keeping track of what's going out. That'll help us really make some empowering choices and decisions in modules 5 and 6. And along the way, bonus with purchase is that you will have some thoughts come up and you get to notice them, and that's really, really empowering. So just summarizing the bits that you are for sharing: hashtag happy habits, this is for the Facebook group, hashtag evidence, and hashtag notice. So when things pop up, share them. As I said, those unconscious patterns that have been just kind of lurking and hiding, as you become aware of them, they're coming up into your conscious awareness. They're no longer unconscious. You've immediately weakened them. You've shone that light of awareness on them. And from there, you get to make a choice. Is this something I'd like to hold on to or not? That is powerful. But when you share it in the group, it's like you're public shaming it. And that's really, really powerful. And, it's not something you would do to people, but with some negative limiting beliefs and thoughts that you really don't want to have sticking around, give them hell, pop them in the Facebook group, public shame them, hashtag notice, and just share. Just share what you noticed, what's going on. Keep the general conversation positive and empowering, so even though you might be sharing some things that you go, oh my God, I can't believe I think that, but that is so sad and depressing, make sure that your message is, I'm so glad I've uncovered this, because I know that I get to shift and release it now. And I know that this will change things for me in a major way. So the Facebook group is about helping each other stay on a high vibration, really masterminding and getting that vibration building and building and building. It's there to support you. My rule is that anything that goes on in the Facebook group stays in the Facebook group. So no matter what you post in there, and I expect everybody else to, follow along with this, it stays in the vault. The Facebook group is the vault. You can say anything you need to. It will never leave that space. Even when fantastic things happen for you, if people post, oh my God, this fabulous thing's happened, I've just had this amazing contract come through or whatever, I will never, ever grab a screenshot of that and use it to promote the program. I will only ever take things for promotional purposes that you give me permission to. And for that, I use a hashtag testimonials, which I ask for at the end. But just know that for now, anything you post in the group is sacred, stays in the group. We're all there to love and support each other. There is no judgment. There is no right or wrong. Everybody will be different. Everybody will have a different journey through all of this. There are people repeating this course who didn't make it. Previously, this was a 10-day intensive boot camp. Some people didn't make it past day 2. But they had some great shifts. And when they came back again, they made it further. Now that it's a 6-week program, you have plenty of time and space to process every week's work and to support each other so that you can keep moving forward. So the Facebook group is really your sacred place. So sharing there really helps you make permanent shifts at the unconscious level. It wires everything deeper into your unconscious, because when you say it out loud, it takes on so much more power. Okay, so that is the end of Module 1. I can't wait to have you back for Module 2 next week, which is about getting you totally in alignment with abundance.